Hey friends, it's Ashley and I'm so excited to join you for the Holly Jolly Holiday Hop with some awesome YouTube crafters. We've got a free cut file for you and I will leave a link to that in the description box below. And I'm going to get started on my layout here. I'm using the Holly Jolly phrase from the cut file set, and I'm also using the Snow and Cocoa collection from Crate Paper. I'm going to do like a star border, and I cut just a template from cardstock, and I want to do it over this pattern paper, but I want the center of the circle to be faded out a little bit. So I'm just using some white gesso to kind of cover up that pattern, just to kind of fade it out so it's not quite as prominent in the center. The white gesso is great if you want to cover patterns. The clear gesso is better if you're going to be adding mixed media to your layouts, but you don't want to cover up necessarily a pattern. But that just kind of makes your paper sturdier for the mixed media that you're going to add. I'm not really doing any mixed media on this layout. I'm just going to add some splatters of color shine at the end. And now I want to layer these stars before I add them to the layout. So I'm just kind of matching up the bigger star with a color that fits it. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere that star to the center. And I want to stitch down these to add some texture to the stars before I put them on the layout. So I'm just running those through my sewing machine really quickly just to get that stitching. And I used white thread for this. And I'm just going to do these 3 here, and then I'll finish the rest of those off camera. And this was really quick, just adding that little bit of stitching. You could do hand stitching also if you wanted to, but these were kind of small, so I didn't want to try to do the hand stitching on those. And so now I've got those all finished up, and I'm going to use this piece that I cut kind of as a template so I can go back and add in all of my stars around the circle shape. And I just did that in Silhouette Studio and kind of set up a circle and then place the stars around the circle so I could get kind of a perfect circle. And I'm just going to place all of these. I'm trying to kind of space out the coloring to make sure that I don't have 2 that are right together with the same color. So I'm just trying to figure out which ones that I want to go where. And I really like this little method of using like a template that I cut on my Cameo. It helps you get everything placed exactly where you want it. And then if you wanted to, I just used kind of a throwaway piece of cardstock, but if you wanted to, you could cut this from another piece of pattern paper that you could save and use for later. And so now I'm going to start building my layout, and I have the Holly Jolly word, so I want to figure out how I want to back that. And I think this pattern paper is actually from the Crate Paper Fa La La collection. I kind of mix those 2 collections on my Christmas layouts because they coordinate together. And so I think I pulled this one, and I wanted some red. The Snow and Cocoa collection doesn't really have any red, but I wanted a touch of red to go with the pajamas that the kids are wearing. And so I just traced that outside edge of the word holly. And so I'm going to cut along this line that I drew, just a little bit on the inside of the line, so I'll have an extra little margin to adhere to the back side of my word. And as I started working on this, I decided I did not want the O backed with the same pattern paper. I wanted to change the O out to something else. So as I'm cutting, I just leave that O and don't cut it because I'm going to trace it again on a different pattern paper just to add some variety to the title and give it a little bit of a different look. And so here is what I decided to use for that. I love this wood grain paper, and I've saved every little scrap. I actually have 1 full sheet left of it, and so I'm saving it for like another Christmas layout this Christmas season. And I think I've had this collection for like 2 years, so I've actually been hoarding all of the wood grain pieces from that collection. And so now I'm just going to use my liquid adhesive to adhere each of the pieces that I cut, and I'm just going around really lightly. I don't like to add too much because I don't like to have it squeeze out from behind my word. And so that's kind of what it's going to look like. I want it on a tilt and an angle, and you can see I finished backing it with all of the pattern paper, and I did the same thing on the O in the word jolly. I used a different pattern than what I did for the word. And so now I'm going to add some foam behind the word to kind of pop it up. And this takes a little while just because I'm kind of doing each letter. I wanted to make sure that I had enough foam just so part of it wouldn't like kind of fall down, so it would all stand up. But I really like using this foam because I can cut it to exactly the size that I want it, so I don't have to use multiple pieces of like foam dots behind a letter. And if I have any excess, I just kind of trim it away before I put it down. And I like to use my adhesive tape runner with this because it just helps hold it in place. Sometimes I will use liquid adhesive with these if it's kind of on something that I know it won't stick to very well. But it kind of shifts a little bit until it dries. So I like to actually use the adhesive roller if I can to attach it. And I also added some behind my photo because I just wanted it to pop up a little bit too. Just to have the title and the photo stand out in the center of the layout. And I really like the way that the gesso faded out that pattern in the center, but it's really bright and bold around the outside. And now I want to fold up my stars just to add a little bit of dimension, and that's kind of why I stitched down the center, just so I could peel up those sides. And they had a little bit of extra adhesive on the outside edges, but since I used my tape runner, those came up really easily. And I just like that little bit of texture and dimension that folding up the star edges adds. And I wanted to start embellishing. I had one button left from the collection, so I thought it would be perfect in the O. And then I wanted something else that was kind of a dimensional embellishment, so I used a heart from the chipboard piece on the other O. I always like to add things to my O's. I'm not sure why. It's just a thing that I have. And so I'm just kind of going through to see what I want to choose. And I like these little houses. They're puffy stickers, and I haven't ever used these before, but since this photo was taken at home, it was when we had made our cookies for Santa on Christmas Eve. The little houses kind of went with that, and I just liked it right there beside my photo. And this is from the ephemera pack. A lot of times I like to look at the ephemera pieces and see if I can use them in a different way by fussy cutting them. And that's what I did with this. I just kind of cut out the 25. Even though it was on the 24th, it was close enough. So I wanted to use that there. And I also wanted to fussy cut just the little kind of branch from the stockings. I didn't want the full stocking piece. And so I just wanted to kind of add that to fill in some space at the top of my title. And so I'm just going to adhere that with my tape runner above the title. And then I wanted to add some more of those puffy stickers. I think these are really cute. And then the little phrase stickers here, I always like to use these. And so I'm going to cut this one so I can use it on my photo. And I think that one says hot cocoa and marshmallows. So that would kind of fit with like making some cookies for Santa. And I like the pop of black that it adds. And then I also added another one up at the top with the snowflake and the little branch piece. And I thought this little candy cane was cute. It took me a while to get that off the sheet, but I wanted to add that in. And I'm kind of trying to create some clustering around my photo just to kind of have it stand out more. And still going back to those puffy stickers to find some that I want to use. I've had this for a while, so kind of trying to get these used up. I didn't buy a new Christmas collection this year, so once I get a lot of this one gone, I can buy some new ones for next year probably. And so the last thing I'm going to do is add my date. So I've got my Shamil date stamp here, and I want to get that added. And so that is going to finish up pretty much everything on the layout. I'm going to add some color shine here. I'm using two colors, the pink, and I'm going to also use black. And I just wanted to get a little bit of that on the layout. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Make sure you check out my description box for links to all the other ladies that are participating in the hop, and head over and watch their videos. I hope you enjoyed watching today, and if you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, I would love for you to become a new subscriber. Here's the finished layout and some close-ups. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.